What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
M. Night Shyamalan is back with his, I believe, final movie in the Unbreakable universe, the trilogy of films, which in itself, describing that spoils Split. But at this point, the movies are way better together than they are apart. Kind of suffers from what a lot of the DC movies recently suffer from, is that, like, if you don't know all of the backstory and you haven't been a fan and you're not caught up, then a lot of the references fall flat. And that's where a lot of the meat of this movie is, in the references, because it brings, I mean, not really. You don't necessarily need to know. I mean, you kind of know, but like it brings back everybody from the first two movies. As far as, I mean, the superheroes. Well, for those that don't know, it's like M. Night Shyamalan's his if superheroes were real kind of movie. Like the birth of like an original superhero character and villains, and kind of places those in more of a realistic setting, I guess, to movies. Where Unbreakable was the first. I was a huge fan of Unbreakable, despite it has, listen, the pacing of Glass is very similar to the pacing of Unbreakable. But Unbreakable had like these moments, like where Bruce Willis's character starts finding out that he has these powers. Like there's these moments with his kid that like they give you some fuel and energy to get you through the really slowly paced scenes of dialogue that happen in Unbreakable. But I loved Unbreakable when it came out. Like, aside from it being kind of slow, I enjoyed that movie a lot. When Split came out, I didn't know it was part of the movie. Spoilers for Split. But at the very end of Split, as many Shyamalan movies do, they kind of have a twist. Split, I really enjoyed. I thought it was good, super interesting, and seeing that it was tied in to the whole, basically a sequel in a lot of ways to Unbreakable. From what I heard, that character was supposed to be in Unbreakable, but he was cut for time, or he just wasn't able to do it. There's some instances, so it was kind of a character that he always wanted to have around, so he finally was able to do it many years later. I mean, Unbreakable was 2000, and Split came out in 2016, so 16 years later, he finally is able to do this movie Split about a guy who has multiple personality disorder, which apparently is kind of the way he's written is unfair to the realities of that disease, from what I've heard. I'm not an expert, clearly, but aside from that, as being a comic book type of a character, that's the type of character, and it's super well. I love the way it's portrayed in Split. The actor that played the Split character. So, and then this movie, Glass, is where they all come together. And this movie I enjoyed. I did enjoy it. It was okay. It was okay. For sure slow. I need to revisit the first two. I was hoping to watch them both before having to record this week's episodes, but wasn't able to. So maybe next week I'll do kind of a revisit of all of the movies. But I have a feeling that refreshing myself, I watched part of Unbreakable last night, but it was late, so I didn't get to watch the whole thing. But just seeing the heart and it reminded me of how good Unbreakable was. And then Split, I would say is just as good, like around as good. I mean, I don't, maybe a little bit less, but for sure Glass, I would say, is the least effective of of the three. But it helps tie up all three of the movies well. At least that's what my feelings are watching part of Unbreakable, kind of remembering Split. 'Cause I only watched Split once when it came out, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. So, kind of hazy. I watch a lot of movies, so it's hard to remember movies that you only saw once. And it impacted me because especially the end of Split where you find out it's part of this whole universe. But I have a feeling if I watched both of those and then went in to watch Glass, it would have been a even better experience. But I did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. I will buy it when it comes out, considering I have the first two on iTunes already. For sure I'll get it when it comes out. But M. Night Shyamalan in general has had a crazy career because I was working at the movie theater when his first movie, Sixth Sense, came out. It's the first movie written and directed. And it was a movie that just kind of was, and I actually watched Glass in the same theater, which is kind of weird. But it was a movie that just didn't do anything, and it was, in a small theater. It had gotten the release in the big theaters. It kind of moves its way down to the smaller and smaller, screens at the movie theater. And all of a sudden, it gets through word of mouth, it gets blown up. And next thing you know, it's back in the large theater. There's multiple screenings of The Sixth Sense. It was a crazy thing to see how this movie got, it was almost out of theaters. And then through word of mouth, it fucking exploded. And a great movie anyway. Followed it up with Unbreakable in 2000. Then Signs, the Alien movie, which the end of it, the swing away part, kind of cheeseball, but overall, I still like that movie a lot. The Village, love that movie. Kind of a weird, they're all weird. They're all great. Not all of them great. I haven't seen all of them. Lady in the Water, it was okay. It's a kids movie, so a lot of people I think were upset that it wasn't like a more mature kind of a film, but it's very much like a kids kind of sensibility, this fantasy story that you would read your kids, but which I think is how he came up with it, that it was a story that he told his kids and he developed it into a movie. So I didn't think it was horrible, not for me kind of a film. If he did a rom-com that was a little bit too heavy on the, I don't know, whatever rom-coms do that annoy me. But then he came back in 2008 with The Happening. Hated that. I know he was going for a Hitchcock. He loves Hitchcock. But it's Mark Wahlberg whispering throughout the whole thing and just a breeze killing people. It was not good. Bird Box, I guess, was the better Happening. Airbender, I watched the first maybe 20 minutes. I loved the show, the animated series. Loved it. Super excited that it was getting made into a movie. Total disappointment. Although I did only watch the first 10 minutes. After Earth, I have never seen, no desire to see. However, I did see The Visit, and I love that movie. So kind of a comeback for him. And then Glass. And dude's been working, right? Despite coming out with just trash. Seeing his movie pop up on a trailer would make people laugh. I remember seeing trailer for The Devil, I think it was. It was a movie that he was just a producer of, or he just wrote it and somebody else directed it. And just his name coming up for any reason just made the crowd just laugh. And The Devil was actually pretty good. But yeah, he just went through, his career is almost like what The Sixth Sense. Although The Sixth Sense, when it first came out, nobody knew about it. So it's interesting. And he wrote all of those. I thought the ones that he didn't do well, the ones that weren't good, were the ones he didn't write, but he wrote all of them too. It's just, maybe it's production now. He's producing all of his own stuff or paying to get his stuff made. So, but Glass, I would have liked to see Glass just a little bit tighter. I would have loved to see it just a little bit better. So, but overall, I enjoyed the series. That's my thoughts on Glass anyway, people. New episodes of this show come out every day. Subscribe everywhere podcasts are found. Binge the full week as a member over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Inspired Disorder for all of my artwork and prints and all links to all the podcasts that I've produced over the years. At Ray Taylor for me. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out!